Tonight, I'm cooking for a private dinner party for 6 people. The menu is light and fresh and a little bit special, perfect for a summer evening dinner party. I didn't film anything in my client's home. I usually don't. One, for privacy purposes, I always ask if it's okay. But also, honestly, when I'm the only person running around at an event trying to host a party for 6 people, there's usually not much time for me to even think about setting up the camera. I'm usually focused on making everything perfect, special, and making sure that I don't forget garnishes and things like that. But today, I thought I'd bring you a little behind the scenes in my home to show you what I do before I head to one of these events. And then we can pack it all up and head on over to the client. And of course, would this even be a Clark video if we didn't start in the Whole Foods? Good morning, good evening, whatever the hell time it is for you. Welcome back to the table, my friends. It is a beautiful morning here today, and we are prepping for an event. And I thought it'd be fun to show you kind of what happens in my kitchen before I head into someone else's kitchen. Because if I can do some prep beforehand, I absolutely am going to do that. I don't love to be in someone's space for 4 hours, right? That's not the goal. The goal is to get in, create something beautiful, and let y'all enjoy it in peace. And so I also wanted to show you a little bit about like what happens for an event, right? How do we come up with ideas? What's my game plan look like? So you can also use this as something to help you plan your own dinner parties, your own events. This is also great for you to think about how you plan out holidays, because anytime you are serving multiple people, you gotta have a schedule. You gotta have a schedule, people. I'm gonna show you my little vision board, alright? Let's get her up on the screen. Alright, so this is the vision board that I create. Sort of. It tends to go into this field, but this is the one I created specifically for this dinner party. It's a 6 guest dinner party, and I did the menu design and dinner. Everything else the client wanted to do themselves. So we went off of a theme that they kind of gave me a vision for. We go off of like keywords, or if they have kind of an idea of what they want for the menu. This one, we really just kind of went around a vibe. We went around, okay, we want to have this type of table. We want to have this type of table set up. They wanted something kind of neutral, leaning slightly, not quite Mediterranean. We also wanted to keep it light and summery, have this kind of floral note a little bit. So I just kind of ran with it. I pitched them a couple different ideas, and we settled on this menu design, which I realized after I put our finalized meal on there needed a fix-in, so that's why that's on there. Because I'll print those out and bring those with me so I can just lay those out on the table once I get there. Because I'll get there a little early. The goal is to be there before your guests, right? So that way when people start showing up, people show up to events hungry. So the goal is to have an appetizer or something out for people to munch on the minute they show up. So my goal with this one is to get there a little bit early, prep the appetizer, and then get it out on the table so I can sort of work on the rest of the show. The meal for this one, we're doing appetizer just to get people kind of settled in, and then a beautiful plated meal. Because it's only 6 people, we're not doing it family style. I'm actually going to plate up each individual meal. And they wanted something healthy and summery and light, so we settled on a seafood dish. We're doing steamed cod over a beautiful bed of orzo with a little bit of broccolini on the side. That way you get nice balanced meal, really light and summery. And then we're going to finish it with my semolina cake. This is just so nice. I love something for a dinner party that is either sliced or portionable. And when I say portionable, I mean like individually portioned out. So I like a pie, but I'd prefer to do like a tartlet so everyone can have their own individual thing. I digress. For this one, there are a few things that we can make ahead to. So first thing we're going to make ahead is the goat cheese. We're just going to get that whipped up so then when we get there, we can focus on the tomatoes, getting everything nice and warm and plated beautifully, and that can be very fast. And we don't have to dirty a client's mixer or worry about asking them if they even have one with a whisk attachment. We got that covered. We're not also transporting one. It's wonderful. Second thing we're going to do is cake. This cake tastes better if it sets up for a while. So it's wonderful to prep it beforehand, bring it, and set it out for people to look at, to enjoy the beauty of it. And then we can slice it and zhuzh it up with a little fresh fruit and some whipped cream right before we serve it. So today that's what we're going to do. Make some whipped goat cheese, and we're going to make a semolina, lemon pistachio semolina cake so we can get going. And then I'll show you some of my other supplies that I take with me, wrap up in my little to-go bag. And then of course I always take the groceries and stuff with me. That's the boring part. All right, so let's get into prepping this food. I have just had some butter and my goat cheese out on the counter softening for a little while because we are going to need both. But the thing that's going to take us the longest is the cake. So I am going to have us start on this, and we're going to start by preheating our oven. Also, I don't know why earlier I said we were going to put this in a mixer. We're going to put it in the food processor. That's what I meant. I'll post the recipe I'm following, but I'm actually tweaking it. So I'll link the recipe that inspired it, but I'm tweaking it because I don't love the ratios of things, and it's not the flavor profile I want. This is a pistachio semolina cake, but it's not super lemon forward, and this is with pistachios and honey. So we're aiming for more pistachio lemon, not as sweet. I also just now noticed that this recipe says that you need 4 eggs at room temp. They don't front load enough, aka I don't read the recipe good enough. Alright, we're doing this in a springform pan. If you don't know what a springform pan is, it's like a cake pan. I always call it a cheesecake pan because if you ever make cheesecake, you usually make it in a springform pan. And it's called a springform pan because it has this little clip here that allows it to release, and then it becomes 2 parts. So then your cake normally sits on this flat part, and you can take this part off. But this, you pop them together, push the clip in, and then it makes it a full bakeable thing. So we're going to start by buttering and flouring this. I always keep room temp butter in my butter bell. I've learned in my adult life that not everyone grew up with room temp butter on the counter all the time, so that's something. The other benefit of prepping ahead is if something goes wrong, you can make another one. So another pro tip I always have, whether you're cooking for your friends, your family, or for someone you don't know, buy more than you think just in case you gotta make more. It doesn't need to be double, but buy extra in case something happens. In case something happens. And then I'm just gonna use a fine mesh sifter to also flour this. And I don't want extra, I just want a nice light coating, so I just dump the rest out into the sink. Let's start with our dry ingredients. I don't know why this, if the recipe has weights, I will do it in weight, but for some reason this one has it in ounces, which just feels a little odd because I'm used to it in grams. Not the biggest deal in the world, just seems strange. What we're gonna do 3.75 ounces of all-purpose flour. If you don't know what semolina is, I actually don't even know what it's made out of. I don't know. I use it in pasta. I also blitzed the pistachios. It said until finely ground. Okay, well, part of it was finely ground and part of it was not. So we're going with whatever this groundness is. And then we are going to start putting some of our ingredients into the stand mixer. You can see our eggs have gotten to room temp. You see how they like sweat? They sweat it out. Okay, it says 4 eggs and sugar in here. Get this bad boy going. This also wants you to use super fine sugar, and I do not want to purchase that on its own. So what I always do is just take my regular sugar that I use in all my baking stuff, which is usually just organic cane sugar. I just take this and I'll put it in the blender real quick, and not too long, because if you put it in there too long, it'll become powdered sugar, which we don't want. We just want to get it to a fine grit. So we're looking somewhere between powdered sugar and where we're at now. If this seems way too complicated to you, just buy superfine sugar. I don't have the patience for that. I realize all the audio cut out last time, but we are just on the mixer, getting everything mixed together, wet ingredients, dry ingredients, adding in a lot more lemon zest to the actual recipe, and then we will come back with finished cake batter. Alrighty, this is where we're at right now. She's a little, I don't want to say on the soupy side, because she's not soupy, but the one big thing with this is that you don't want to over mix it. We want to keep a lot of the air in it from the sugar and eggs being mixed together. I added in a lot more lemon zest than it suggested. It wanted you to wait till, the original recipe wanted you to wait till this point to add in lemon zest. I had lemon zest and lemon juice mixing in here to brighten it up and really infuse a lot of that lemon oil into the batter. So now I'm just going to add in the rest of the lemon zest, which is probably still more than they suggested. The recipe said a teaspoon. I probably did like 2 tablespoons. I just had like a really fat lemon. Not fat shaming the lemon, just the reality of the situation. Then we're going to gently fold all this together. And that's our cake batter. Done up, ready to go. It smells like lemons. Delicious. And you'll notice that there isn't a ton of sugar in this. So if you have clients or family members who want something with a little less processed sugar, refined sugar, or maybe just lower sugar in general, this is a good option. We're going to make a little syrup to add on top of this as well to sweeten it up a little bit more. But you could always leave it like this for a little less sweet dessert. Then we are going to put this in the oven, bake her, and keep an eye on her. While the cake is baking, we're just gonna whip up our goat cheese. This is basically room temp goat cheese, nice and softened. I'm just gonna start by adding it to our food processor. Again, this is just for the ease of not having to make a mess. Could I do this when I got there? Absolutely. But I don't have to rely on another appliance being there. I don't have to make another mess. It's just easy. And it's so few ingredients. You can do cream cheese, but I like to do Greek yogurt. So we're going to do a little bit of Greek yogurt in there. We have our goat cheese. And then I'm going to add in a little bit of honey. I'm not even going to salt this or anything because we're going to add some balsamic, some roasted tomatoes, which will also have salt on them. And the crackers will have salt, so it won't be too overwhelming. Okay. And then I'm going to blend this all in the food processor. But I also got out this little saucepan because I'm going to make a little honey syrup to go on top of the cake. So I'm just going to pour a bunch of honey in there. We're going to make like a lemon honey simple syrup. And I'm also going to add a little bit of vanilla bean to it. The honey is heating up on the stove, but I'm going to zest some more lemon to put into there. Artificial lemon is such a strong flavor, and you can pick up on it so easily, but sometimes it really takes a lot of lemon to get lemon flavor to really pop through something, and you just gotta zest it out. Yeah, don't miss out on all the goodness on the back of your zester. Okay, I'm gonna get this into the honey along with the juice of this lemon. Our goat cheese mixture is done, so I'm just going to put this in a container that'll transport easily. I'll label it so that way everyone knows it's nice and fresh and everyone knows what it is. Clear communication. I always also use fresh container, fresh lid. Because trust me, I have plenty of these. Alright, do you see that texture? Can you see that? Oh, so good. Nice and fluffy and creamy. Okay. Cake's still just about done. So the last thing I'll normally do beforehand is I'll just wrap up some supplies to take with me. So this is my big knife. I always take this with me. This is like my main tool and my thing I'm most particular about. I will usually take a bunch of the rubber spatulas you see me use, but those are just kind of add-on things that I'll throw in. Because I'm making a fish there, I will also just make sure that I have a good steam pot. But the only thing that I usually do is wrap up my knife in a nice dish towel. Now, is this dish towel a little dirty? Yes, but it's my favorite one to take with me, and I don't really feel the need to do a whole knife thing. So I take this, I pack everything up into my bag, and then we'll hit the road. And the cake, it needs that time to cool and set in. When it comes out of the oven, it's going to be hot, and then we're going to take that lemon syrup, put it on top, and then it'll have the rest of the day to really infuse and get deeper into that cake and create this nice moist cake. And then we'll just dress it up before we serve it to people. And that's everything I prep. Usually not too much on my end at home, It's usually there, you know? It's like putting on a little show, too. And it makes it fun and enjoyable, but this just makes it easier on me. And this is how you can make it easier on you, too, if you decide to host or do something fun with your friends or do something for someone else. So if you have any questions about anything, please let me know in the comments this week, or if you want to see me do these more often, I can do that too. Try to show you a little bit more about what goes on outside of my own table, at some other people's tables. And hopefully I will see you again at this table sometime soon. Bye!